Noel Noa is quite possibly the strongest soccer player in all of Blue Lock, and his abilities are quite literally unrivaled within the entirety of the Blue Lock universe. His abilities, his skill, and everything that he's been able to do in the Neo Egoist League and his entire influence on quite literally the story of Blue Lock itself is so tremendously powerful that it is absolutely hilarious. So I've seen this kind of video done before where it's somebody else like my friend Golden What Ifs or somebody like Zero doing a what if Isagi was Noel Noah's son, and I wanted to do my own input on it. I wanted to see how I could change the story up and how I could do it because I haven't really watched any of either one of their videos and I want to do my own version of this. So if you guys do enjoy this, please make sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell so you guys can get caught up with all of the latest videos. I hope you guys do enjoy this video and I will be trying my best to make this as entertaining as possible. So please give me any of your thoughts, opinions, and anything that you guys would like to see in this story later on. And I will try to add them in as time goes along. But with all of that said and done, let's get into the video. Obviously, with Noel Noa being 31 and Isagi being 17 at the start of the series, we're going to have to do a little bit of age swapping, and that's really just going to be aging Noel Noa up by around at least a couple years to the point where it would actively make sense. Having him be more closer to the age of 40 to when like Blue Lock would be starting. That would just be a more actual like consistent realistic age comparatively to anything else, so we don't have any real big hiccups around, oh yeah, Noel Noa was like 14 when he had Isagi, so we don't have any situations like that. So we just kind of have it be like where he's around 38, let's just say that. And so with this kind of being the situation, Isagi would just remain being half Japanese, only just so we can actually have him enter Blue Lock under normal circumstances without having to change up anything very randomly. His very early life would be quite a bit different because he wouldn't be living in Japan. Noel Noa and whoever his wife or spouse would be in this would most likely either be living in France or Germany, playing with either the national team for France or Bayern Munich, and that would just be Isagi's life up until now. He would be training and having a lot of fun with his father, as his father is such an amazing figure to Isagi, and they would just really be having an amazing time trying to gain their fatherly son relationship. Isagi would absolutely love this. He loves soccer just as he always has, and now he's able to like be kind of this son of this amazing player, which would obviously mean that Noah's gonna teach Isagi anything that he can and anything that he already knows. It is my honest opinion in this that Isagi would most likely end up being ambidextrous with his shooting just because of the fact that Noel Noa would teach him at least how to do something along those ends. It would just make the most sense for him to do something like that. Even prior to Isagi joining Blue Lock, he would most likely have quite a few skills that he didn't have before. Something like being ambidextrous, having something like machine dribble, and such a high amount of ego that it is hilarious. His egoism and his actual drive to be the best player would be so much stronger than it was in canon, just strictly due to the fact that he was raised by somebody like Noel Noa. He would be the kind of person that uses the same kind of philosophy that Noah had when it came to Isagi, saying something along the lines of, instead of assisting my teammates to win 1-0, it feels better to pull off a hat trick and lose 3-4. So Isagi would have this absolute egoist mentality from an early age on being the best player, and his skills would most definitely rely around him being that good because he would definitely have a lot more abilities up his sleeve well before he ever entered Blue Lock. Especially if we have anything like him meeting Kaiser probably before entering Blue Lock. Even not, maybe not a lot, but at least meeting him once or twice, and meeting a couple other characters from the Bayern Munich team or any other characters well a bit earlier. He would probably meet Eagle maybe once or twice, possibly, but the only way that I'm actually going to get him to actually enter the Blue Lock scene would just be him choosing to go live with his mom in Japan during like one specific season where Blue Lock kind of would be starting, and just have that be a specific thing, because since he would have both Japanese nationality and whatever like French nationality, he would just be able to play for the Japanese team just to make it easy on myself. But this is where the story would begin. Isagi would be living in Japan for the first time in quite a while, choosing to live with his mom in Japan just for the sheer reason that he wants to spend more time around his culture. So he would just be going to school in Japan for this time around. Him being Noel Noa's son would be very widely known because this time around he wouldn't be Isagi Yoichi. He wouldn't be anything like that. He would be Isagi Noa. So it would be a situation where everybody, like, obviously not just gonna know automatically. But any soccer player would probably just kind of get that or understand that without having to do too much prodding or prying. It wouldn't be something that is very hard to figure out. So when we come to a game like that last game, or at least the first game that we see in the show against somebody like Akira, this match is going so completely differently. Isagi having machine dribble, having quite a bit decent more strength, a lot more mentality, and the ability to be ambidextrous is dominating the entirety of the scene. Even though his coach is always going around like, oh, it's all for one and one for all, Isagi is not rocking with that mindset one little bit at all. Boy is absolutely going haywire with his own mentality. That all for one and one for all, Isagi doesn't jack that unless it's the best play for him, because he's always like, he has that Noel Noa mentality. He's just gonna go talking about something like where he always remembers something that Noel Noa always told him. You cannot not know something about your plans. Visualize an ideal situation that you can explain and verbalize completely. Not knowing means it is a dream in your thought process, which is merely a noise, and the lack of logic can destroy any plan. So Isagi has that exact Noel mentality, that mentality to orchestrate, plan almost every single detail about what he's about to do and not make any decisions unless he already has a complete plan already perfectly aligned with his thoughts. It's not, oh, let me just do this and see what happens. It's, let me do this, do this, do this, do this, and this is how I'm going to make the shot. He is planning, orchestrating, doing everything that he possibly can in perfect cohesion that it is absolutely astonishing to see. He knows exactly what he's doing. He knows exactly how he needs to do it. And this match is just showcasing how much of a powerhouse that he is. His team is dominating. This isn't a match that is 0-1. It is a match that is more along the lines of 3-0. Kira is not able to do almost anything with somebody like Isagi, somebody who's so much more strong and so much more trained than anybody on any of these teams could possibly ever be. It is absolutely hilarious. Once he would get home, he would just be with his mom. Obviously, Noah most likely doing some training outside of town at this exact moment, not being in town right now, and Isagi either coming to go visit him or Noah coming to visit Isagi whenever they get the opportunity. Isagi spent most of his childhood with Noah and spends a lot of time with Noah during the summer or any time that he can. He just knows that he sometimes obviously wants to also live a normal life. He spent his prime time with Noah on the field, playing around, training with him, and doing almost any kind of situation to just better himself because he really just loves the sport and he truly is proud and loves his father. So it's just a very big situation and a good situation for them to be able to do so many different things. In this situation where it is honestly not even Kira that would be the person getting all of the spotlight. This time around, the son of Noel Noa being a prodigy like this would be the thing that the news are actively covering. So it wouldn't be Kira, it would be Isagi now, with all of the press coming to him and just being like, what did you think about this game? Why do you think you did so well? Just like talking to him like he is the second coming of Noel Noa, which basically he is. And Isagi would just be talking like normal, talking basically in the same mannerisms that somebody like Noah would be talking about because they had dominated that entire game without really losing too much in almost any way. So he knows that he did extremely well. And so once he, like, as I said, gets home, talks to his mom and talks about the fact that, oh, it's a big situation of the fact of, oh, you know, you got a letter from the Japanese Football Association talking about doing something. As Isagi would just be like, okay, that's weird. as he wouldn't really be bothered about it. He would go and just check it out. As once he would go that next day, that's obviously when Blue Lock would truly begin. And we know Isagi's not even going to have any hesitation about leaving his team. So once he would get to the football center and he would see Kira, it wouldn't really be a situation where he needs to talk too much. They'd probably have a small conversation head inside. They would see all of these other soccer football players around, and Isagi would recognize them all fairly quickly because he would most likely keep good track of who are the top contenders for people around his age. And once Ego would walk in, he would automatically know who Ego was. Isagi knows every teammate his father has ever played with, and Ego would be somebody that Isagi would recognize almost instantly. As I said, they probably would have met at least once or twice due to Isagi having such massive potential. So it would just be one situation where they had met no more than twice, and Isagi would already kind of know what's about to be going on, and immediately Isagi already knows that he's going to accept whatever offer that this is. And especially once Ego's talking about Japan's football team is absolutely trash. They have never won anything. They can't do anything correct, or like all of these yada yada yada. Isagi obviously not having as much of a connection to Japan because he's spent a lot of his time with somebody like Baston Munchen or just the French national team. He would be more inclined to actively listen to what Ego was talking about without any true bias. Yes, he is part Japanese, but Noel Noa is the player that he values the most. He is the team that he values the most. So him and anybody talking bad about the Japan national team isn't really truly hurting his pride like it would anybody else. It would be a very big situation where Isagi, as soon as Ego stops talking, would start running straight to Kira. Would try talking, thinking about like, Isagi should be the first person to talk. His team just won against my team. They should be going to nationals. Like, why isn't he talking? But Isagi's not even jacking that right now. Isagi would just already be running and just say, "Hey, Ego, open the door, please." And everybody's like wondering, like, wait, first of all, how do you know him? Like, why are you just calling him on a first name basis? As Ego would just be like, "Hey, kid, what has it been, like 10 years since I've seen you or whatever?" As Isagi would be like, "Yeah, sounds about right." As he would just like say, "Okay, yeah, I knew you probably would be the first one in, so just go on, come in," like just kind of not even like saying that all in words, just basically giving each other like facial expressions to signify the fact of, oh yeah, he's going in. Not even any real big question about it, like whatsoever. That's just a situation about what's about to happen. As so, it would be just a very big situation of Isagi just walking straight in and everybody else running in afterwards. Everybody wondering, like, who is this kid? Like, what is this kid doing? Like, why is he just running in without even considering anything? It just wouldn't make any real sense whatsoever. Some people would already know, and just like off the fact that is Isagi Noa would know, oh yeah, that's Noel Noa's son. Like, what's he doing here? But some people would know he's half Japanese, so no one would really bother. But once we get into the next little event, which obviously is that little introductory match with Team Z where they're having to play that game of tag, this would be a very, very different set of circumstances. As soon as Isagi would walk into Team Z, which I'm only placing him in strictly due to the fact that I do not want to have to deal with trying to come up with who his perfect ideal team would be, we're just going to kind of leave it along like that. It would be a very big situation where Ego wanted to switch up the teams to at least a decent enough standpoint that not one team was too dramatically overpowered against each other. If a team like Rin's team exists, and like Ryo and Nagi's team exists, Boral's team exists, each team needs to at least have one extremely heavy hitter. And having Boro, Rin, Nagi, Ryo, and all of these characters on one big giant team would just not really help anyone, especially during something like this first match. It's better to have all of the big, strong people have to compete against each other automatically for that top spot instead of having them all be on the same team having to work together. That's not the essence of Blue Lock. So Team Z would be the exact same just for that singular fact. Obviously, Isagi walking in would be a situation where everybody recognizes him. Everybody knows that, wait a second, you're Isagi Noa, Noel Noa's son. Like, what are you doing, Kiris? Isagi would just get dressed saying, "I'm here for the same reasons you guys are here. to not deny this opportunity of a lifetime, to not deny the chance to be possibly gaining the highest expectation of something that you could have never even thought about achieving in any specific way or another. Something that you might have never been able to do once or even twice if you completely consider about it. So it's one of those situations where Isagi is just thinking, cooking, trying to do everything that he can. So it would just be a very big, heavy situation of, as soon as that tag match starts, everybody's gunning for Isagi. And everybody knows that Isagi is probably easily the best person in here. But the thing is, nobody's touching Isagi. Isagi's facial awareness, his abilities, probably has something already like metavision fairly well, because being introduced to somebody like Kaiser so much earlier, especially like earlier than Blue Lock, would have been able to allow him to unlock certain abilities well beforehand. So metavision, abilities like that are already unlocked because he's been able to pay attention to somebody like Kaiser at least once or twice, or at least on a couple specific circumstances where Kaiser was at least able to help him and teach him a couple things to understand the sport better. So the match, like this little tag match, would go to the situation where Bachira and him probably still end up going after Kira, because Isagi's monster shows heavily. Isagi doesn't hold back with his monster. He just lets it out peacefully and lets it rampage, lets it go in complete chaos without any possible thing of letting everything just work around for him. He's just doing whatever he possibly thinks could easily do the best damage for him. So that's kind of where his mind is at in any real big circumstance. But after Kira's taken out, that is where I'm going to be leaving the video off. If you guys did enjoy this, please make sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell so you guys can get caught up with the latest video. I know that this was a fairly decently short video, but I only wanted to kind of get this far into it because I know for the next part I want to finish the entirety of the first selection. I want to do probably the next part for the entirety of the second selection, and spend the last, maybe like the fourth part, only strictly talking about the U20 event, and maybe, if you guys enjoy the series enough, talk about what I think would happen in the Neo Egoist League. So if you guys do enjoy this video, please make sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and comment down below any thoughts that you guys want in this video, and I will make sure to do them. But I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.